People keep asking me when I'm going to have children, but I don't think that's the question they should be asking. The question they should be asking is, why do I want children? Hey guys, your boy Buck says, back again for another video this week. Here we have the difficult conversations that no one else in society is having, and I want to apologize for the long absence in the posting of this video. Lots going on in life, more to come on that in the following few months on this channel. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to not miss it. And naturally, as you progress in life, as you get through different milestones, people ask me when I was getting married, they asked me when my wedding event was, and now everyone's asking me when I'm going to have kids. And that's quite a personal question to ask, not one that I'm averse to asking, but I think that it is the wrong question being asked. The question should actually be, why do you want to have kids, right? It's crazy to me that we have to pass a driving test to be able to drive, which is, there's a lot of risk embedded into that to other people. But the fact that we don't have to pass a test to become parents or show any sort of now. So anyone can be a parent. And I don't think everyone should be parents, right? And I think there would be less of those people if they sat down and actually asked themselves why, right? Let's look at the reasons why some people may become parents, right? It may just be very much so embedded in our mind, our way of thinking, right? Procreation, it's a tenet of all religious scriptures. It's a tenet of our way of life. It's how we grow up, seeing ourselves surrounded by children. It's something we're familiar with. There are milestones in life, and it allows us to continuously check boxes as we live in this life and progress in it, right? It might be just a milestone, it might be an expectation, it might give you cultural clout, it might, be aligned to your religious beliefs. There may be a plethora of reasons why you want to have kids when you ask yourself that question. But I think those are all reasons that are outside of your remit, your control. They're outside of actually your desire. Now, I guess there's some people that may just want this innate sense of having kids. This may go back to, the time of kings and emperors where they wanted a child, they wanted an heir to pass, their legacy onto. And I think, you can't argue against that innate thing. But I think the asking of the why really does inform the type of parent you're going to be. And I don't think enough people ask themselves the why. If you look at some people, right, I know some people that are unbelievable parents. I know some people that, and free from my judgment, maybe they are amazing, but from what I've seen is they probably would have been better not being parents, because they maybe don't have the temperament, they maybe don't have the time, they maybe don't have the resources, they maybe don't have the patience to do it, right? And that's maybe not for me to judge, maybe for other people. But it shocks me sometimes. I've seen people with no kids that probably should have had 3 kids. I've seen people with 4 kids that probably should have stopped at 1. I think a lot of people fall into these pitfalls, right? I think timing is everything, luck is everything, but the timing of having a child is very, very important. And that's why I think you should wait to have kids. You should ask yourself these questions. Ask yourself why you want kids, okay? Like, I don't think enough people take time with their partner. It's crazy. I think maybe a lot of this comes from my personality, who overthinking everything, trying to control the permutations, and maybe just riding off this whole legacy and hard work on my parents, that I'm allowed to have the luxury of thinking about these decisions, whereas they were thrown into it. Everyone that's asking me now, when are you going to have kids, ask them why. I asked my mum the other day, why did you have kids? Why did you decide to have me at such a young age? And I think for her it was expectation, maybe an innate sense, but I've not received a satisfactory answer from that. I almost don't think we actually reckon with our destinies, or actually even admit to it being quite a big decision that affects the livelihood of not just yourself, but your partner, your relationship, and other people. And I don't think it's a decision that can be taken lightly, right? I think people fall into an amazing pitfalls. The why. Let's go back to the worst reason you can have kids. The worst reason as to the why, on one extreme end, is you want to save your relationship. You think your child is going to change someone, it's going to change your partner, it's going to solve all your marital problems. Wrong. Completely wrong. A child is a pressure cooker like no other. It's all consuming. And I don't even have kids, but I've seen people with kids who explain to me that it's all consuming. It will change your life in the worst possible way. Anyone that has any sort of problem, any sort of addictive tendencies, anyone that is exhibiting any sort of social norms that are outside of your comfort, a child will make them turn to those vices even more. Whether that's alcohol, gambling, whatnot. Pressure makes people go further into their vices. So it's almost selfish. If you're someone that thinks a child is going to fix your relationship, then it's selfish to bring the child into that circumstance. It's selfish to put a child through that because it's not going to do anything. And it's selfish actually to your partner. You can't change anyone, whether that's a man or a woman. It's not going to make a woman more softer. It's not going to make a man more softer. A child will make your problems worse. It will make your relationship worse, naturally. What children do is they break relationships to force them into new ones. The relationship you have now with your partner is going to be very different to the relationship you have with your partner after you become parents, because it goes through a completely different process. So that's one extreme and other thing. The other end is you're both on the exact same page and you both want kids. Why do you want kids? Do you want kids to pass on your learning? Do you want kids because you want them to understand how the world, you want to give life a chance, you want maybe your child to change the world, you have big aspirations, or you just want something that is your own? I think, I'm not going to tell people in this video if I want kids or not. That's a very personal thing. I might like to keep it to myself. But I think my suspicion a lot on why people do want kids is they actually want something that is so unique to them and that is their own, right? And that's a very beautiful thing. But you should wait to do that. You should wait because it's not fair to bring a child into this world when you don't have the time, the temperament, or the patience to deal with it. Because after 30 days of a lack of sleep, you will go through clinical depression, just statistically, and it will completely change the makeup of how you approach things. It is not an easy thing, and I see too many people taking that decision lightly. It is a lifetime commitment. It is not something you do for 2 to 3 years when they're cute. It is not something that you have a chosen time frame of temperament for. It is something that you do for a lifetime. I see so many kids. If one more kid comes up to me and calls me a top G after watching Andrew Tate on TikTok, I'm going to flip and lose it. Why are your kids watching Andrew Tate? Why are kids sitting on iPads? Why do they lack social interaction? Why are they sitting on their phones? Why are we outsourcing our parenting to technology? It's probably because we are the first to exist in this capitalist structure where we have to provide for our kids, so we have to stay on this damn hamster wheel, which means that we don't have time to actually spend with our kids. And so if we're in that mindset, if we're in that structure, that society, is it the wisest decision to have kids? I talk to my wife about this all the time. She's a doctor, I'm an accountant. Do we have the time to give to our children? Do we actually have the lifestyle we want? Because that is the difference between development and anything else. Time, right? People get so caught up in the money, they get so caught up in the luxuries, but time. Can you give your child time, and can you give them earnest time, right? And are you in a relationship that can support a child, or are you in a relationship that is going to divide a child? And these are all questions that need to be asked. So I think when you ask people when they're going to have kids, that's very much for them to decide, right? And people can say all they want. They can have this tick box exercise of having kids. This person has a boy, the person has a girl, but only you know it. Only you know your personal temperament. Only you know what you'll be passing on to your child. And for me, it's a very scary thing, and I will outright say this to you and be vulnerable, that it scares me. The thought of having a child scares me, because I don't know if I have my own shit together. I know lots of us don't. And maybe me asking those questions to myself is what's going to prepare me for being a parent and being a good one at that, inshallah. But I don't know, right? And it's a scary thing. It's an unpredictable thing. And I think it's something people take far too lightly. People are having them less so because they're trying to enjoy their life. People are, they're stuck in this position of will we, won't we? And I don't know really how to leverage that, but all I will say is never be leveraged into having children through your partner, because sometimes it's better to be selfish so you give a child a better life. Never be leveraged by our community, because no one is going to raise a child apart from you and your partner. Never be leveraged by your own emotional insecurity, because that will be passed down to the child. And never be leveraged by wanting to save something that isn't your child's responsibility to save. It is difficult enough traversing life as it is. You need to be able to know your partner. You need to be able to know their anxieties before you even think of pawning off both your anxieties onto another person. Wait to have kids. Know your partner. Wait a certain amount of time. Only you know when the right time is. And listen, guys, start spending time with your children. Time. And if you don't have the time, then maybe you're not the person to have children. And that's what Bucks has to say for this week.